Chet Holmgren is going to be out for at least 8 to 10 weeks with an iliac fracture. The first statement that was put out by the Oklahoma City Thunder, a status update or a return to play protocol would be provided in 8 to 10 weeks, not that he would be back in 8 to 10 weeks. What was your reaction to this news when you first saw it?
I mean, it's undeniable that it's a huge piece of news. They're heavy favorites, I guess you could say, in the West, since they look like the best team, like the
They're
most
heavy
solid.
hitters. Like,
Yeah,
they've been godlike defensively.
the best defense in the league. They were
Maybe
undefeated.
in a generation.
Whatever. I feel a little bit silly talking about it when I'm thinking about the Wolves last year and everyone saying, this is the
I
best
know.
defense we've
This
seen
was
in
like
forever.
far and away better than even that. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Nuggets gave them the first loss, of course, but yeah, it's just it changes everything. We were waiting to see how iHeart returning would work with Chet, because then, who's playing center, how those, obviously iHeart's going to play center, but I think the Thunder probably are better when Chet's playing center. So I don't know how that's all going to work out. And I was interested to see how that balance looked and how the offense and the defense looked. I think the Nuggets did really good against the Thunder, attacking them in the post, and we'll talk about that specifically. So just Chet being out, it's exposing more of their weaknesses, and he's hugely important to them.
They gave up a 130 something offensive rating to the Clippers a couple nights ago. It's their first full game without Chet. Actually, in the game they lost, Chet was versus the Golden State Warriors. Chet was going up to contest a shot at the rim by Andrew Wiggins, and he just kind of like went sideways and fell and fractured his hip there, just awful. Yeah, Chet's reaction while sitting in the hospital bed after all this was, I can't believe this MFer made the lay. WTF, I'm pissed. And then, yeah, really tough for such a young player who already missed his rookie season out with, the foot injury, and then to be on a team that is this good and is so, that he's so important for. So this is the message that he put out to Oklahoma City Thunder fans. Can't tell if I feel better or worse about this, having been through something similar before. On one hand, I know how to approach it. I know what to do, what not to do, and how beautiful the other side is. But on the other hand, I felt frustration of this process and the wear it puts on your mind. Most of all, I'm hurt I can't help my teammates and play for our fans and supporters for a while. Everyone who sticks with me and our team, along with my need for hoops, is a big part of my passion to return. Don't pity me or feel bad. There's lots of people out there right now with real problems that don't heal. Anyways, excuse my rambling. Just wanted to address our OKC fans and family. Thoughts from the hospital bed. 7. Really tough, right? I mean, he's saying all the things that you want to hear from a player in this situation, especially, again, a very young player. I believe Chet is, he's 22. I think he just turned 22 recently also. So he's Peyton Watson's age.
When you get players like this who have bodies that aren't typical, who are really tall or skinny, or if you're like a Zion where you're built like an NFL linebacker, people have all kinds of comments and speculations about your injury frequency. The one where he got injured
but
playing
this was
against...
like a freak thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's nothing he could do with that. It's just going to happen. So
when you fall horizontal directly onto your hip, like that's just...
I just saw the injury and I thought this might be okay. It might just be like a bone bruise, might be like a contusion or something, whatever. But if
you hit it at just the right angle, you put pressure at that.
The diagnosis was way more severe than I thought.
The thing is, in the short term, I think it's going to affect them dramatically because, like I said, they were able to pull out that game versus the Clippers the other night, by the way. Part of the problem is because of how aggressive OKC likes to play on the perimeter, they end up leaving a lot of holes to be plugged, basically. And Chet was really good at plugging those holes, especially when it came to protecting the rim. Like they have the best rim defense in the NBA this season. I don't think that that's going to continue, at least for now. And the reason I say it's going to affect them more in the short term is because obviously Isaiah Hartenstein has been out, but OKC is also a team that is incredibly, even with Chet, incredibly predicated on forcing turnovers on the perimeter, and they're still going to do that. just like they were in the season where they were missing Chet. People forget they finished top 12 in defense that year. So the defense is going to be able to keep up. I'm actually more curious how this impacts their offense. You'd think like, oh, they get to go micro even more of the time. But Chet adds another dimension to their offense that isn't there even when they go their super small ball 5-out with his screening and his roll gravity. The other guys on that team do not have roll gravity. This was something that I thought they didn't exploit Chet's roll gravity enough in that Mavs series until the end of it when it was too late. I'm more curious about how it impacts them on both ends of the floor, but I don't think there's going to be the dramatic drop off that everyone is necessarily expecting, but it might just be enough to give other teams the opportunity to, climb into that top spot.
That's all I really care about. Like, they're not going to fall down to a play-in team or anything. It's just like, whoa, they were going to be the
They were a
runaway.
play-in team without Chet the entire year.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the 1 seed is just, they were going to run away with it. It was kind of looking like, even though the Warriors and other teams and Suns, they're putting up crazy regular season numbers right now, and it just changes things in the West, just plain and simple.
This is just one other thing, because it was something I was already skeptical about with OKC this year, is their on-ball creation. When they got rid of Gideon, didn't replace that with another on-ball creator like that. They were really relying on both Chet and J-Dub to continue to develop in that role, and Chet really was starting to, like we saw in that first game versus OKC and the Nuggets. Like, Chet was killing us on ball with his drives and everywhere, right? So that's another just layer that they're missing now. They can put in another like small like guard, but their guards aren't really, really strong, high level on ball creators. And so that is something that I think is going to suffer.
Well, let's talk about some of the other injuries.
Yeah, so I'll just go through a few of these because there are so many. So Paul George and Trey Murphy have both returned to the floor since the last time we talked about some of the big injury updates of the league. But some of the big names that are still out are Kawhi, Chris Middleton, and Joel Embiid. But we have some more fresh wreckage of the season since we last talked about this. Kevin Durant is going to be out with a few weeks with a calf strain. Tyrese Maxey is out with a hamstring, and this Sixers team has already been through so much, so we're not going to see the big three of Embiid, Paul George, and Maxey on the floor together for a while. Just want to point out that actually both Kevin Durant and Tyrese Maxey were leading the league in minutes per game before their respective injuries, and Kevin Durant is 36 years old, so crazy that he was second in minutes. Zion Williamson, another hamstring issue. It's one of those things, I don't even know if it's like a blaming conditioning thing anymore at this point. It's just with these soft tissue injuries, like they're just so finicky. Speaking of freak athletes, John Morant, a hip subluxation injury again versus the Lakers. It's the third year in a row that Ja gets injured while playing the Lakers.
It's pure coincidence.
The Grizzlies should just sit him in those games. We had Scotty Barnes suffer an orbital fracture in the first game that the Nuggets played against the Raptors this season. It was like a freak thing where like Pirtle,
yeah, sorry Scotty,
flipped back and hit Jokic, and that momentum took him into Scotty's eye. Hope, and he'll be back at some point this season, of course. The Mavs are without Derek Lively. They were without him for the game that the Nuggets played against them. Malik Monk is out with an ankle thing. That was a more recent development. And of course, the Nuggets are missing Aaron Gordon with a calf strain. So like, which one like stands out at you as being like one of the more impactful of these? Because these are just the big names, obviously.
I mean, John, Durant, and Maxey, I think, are the biggest. I mean, they're super high-level established starters. I think Zion is just Zion, always big questions about him, and he's been injured a lot. He misses so many games throughout his career, so here's another one. So that just kind of sucks to see. The other ones are just kind of like accidents and tweaks. Man, the Mavs really miss Derek Lively against the Nuggets. Holy shit. Yeah, I think sometimes fans want to like macro narrative the injuries and say like, oh, the league has a problem because of this and that's why these injuries are happening. But or like they'll blame the bodies of athletes or whatever. But I don't know. It just seems kind of like a mixed bag of just really unfortunate injuries.
You hear that, guys? Will is in the bag for Adam Silver. And the Players Association, frankly, because nobody wants to lower the number of games in the season for money reasons.
I guess you could maybe say if we weren't playing back-to-backs or playing every other day, would these injuries still be happening?
But these are like early in the season, so it's hard. Like,
yeah.
I get it. I get what you're saying about people like trying to shoehorn that narrative in. A lot of this stuff is like either lingering stuff from the summer or just like freak stuff that happened early in the season.
Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I want Aaron Gordon to come back. I was at that game that he got hurt and was hoping he would just walk it off. But yeah, calf strain. Calf strains, I'm starting to really hate calf strains.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Let's turn to a brighter note, Will. Jamal Murray was spotted with his daughter at this was at the Mavs game, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right before the Mavs game in Denver.
Right before the Mavs game. She is so cute. She looks just like him.
I know, it's so wild.
And my question for you on this is it a coincidence that she was dressed like a minion? Because the Nuggets have leaned so far into this Minions thing ever since Jokic was in that movie promo.
That is an interesting theory. Jamal, bringing her out on the court, knows photographs are going to be taken. The Nuggets are going to post it on social media.
Oh, yeah. Like this looked like a kind of cute little planned photo
like a coordinated
thing. Also because like it wasn't super public knowledge about Jamal having a daughter in the first place. I don't think this was like a spontaneous...
Yeah. Some fans definitely had no idea. Some fans had heard.
I think most people had no idea.
I think we even talked about it maybe privately. I don't think we talked about it on the show, but like when he was struggling in the playoffs,
we
we were
did not
like,
talk about it on the show.
Like, Jamal, he just had a kid. So we were talking about that together. I mean, Aaron Gordon said something where he maybe like ratted Jamal out.
Yeah, he kind of ratted him out on that podcast where he talked about his baby girl. And I thought that it was like a significant other.
Yeah.
Because you can also read it as that. But yeah. Oh my God, she's so cute though. Like, I just want to munch her up. Anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully this is a good boost to Jamal's morale and like gives him some perspective. You have a kid who knows how it can change someone's perspective.
Yeah, we need that girl dad bump. Like,
yeah, I mean, this is a real thing in hockey. I don't know if you've heard that, but players who have kids, like the season that they're a new dad, supposedly have like amazing career year seasons. So,
like, I'm worried that Jamal let it expire.
Well, I guess it was last season really his.
I mean, he was like good in the regular season. He just couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately. Well, hopefully we get like a delayed girl dad bump. I'm rooting for it.
There's still a chance. But before we get out of here, let's check around the rest of the league. We're going to look at the standings really quick and just get some early impressions because we made some tier lists and rankings in the offseason.
We sure did. And teams have already kind of surprised us in either direction so far.
Yeah. In the East, obviously,
Cavaliers.
The Cavs are undefeated, 12-0, number 1 seed. We want to look at the West. Obviously, the Thunder are in first, then the Suns, Warriors, and Nuggets at fourth, which is good to see for us. But I'm surprised
Let's go higher.
Yeah.
I'm greedy.
Very surprised by these two teams, the Suns and the Warriors. So let's just say based on like this early look and these returns this season, what is looking like the best preseason take that you had that wasn't necessarily popular?
Yeah, I think this is like a more lukewarm one because the Clippers are good. I think everyone expected them to be like out of the play-in, but they're in the play-in right now. I did say that they would make the playoffs and they still have time to do that. And who knows, like maybe Kawhi comes back at some point this season and they make a run. My prediction was predicated on like Kawhi's going to play like at least half the year, right? Who knows? I don't know. But they've been really good on defense. And I think even like the Nuggets were really struggling offensively at the beginning of this season. Like there's no doubt about it. But the way that the Clippers were defending in that second game of the season for us just kind of confirmed what I thought they would look like defensively. Just very pesky, very stout. And then like Harden trying to run the show. The thing I didn't expect was like Norm Powell was going to have an all-star year shooting like 20. He's getting 26 points on like almost 70% true shooting right now.
Yeah.
And a
I've
lot of
been
it off the dribble, like it's not just catch and shoot, but he's obviously getting a lot of looks as well.
I was waiting
So
for him when he got traded for to be like a huge problem. And with
he's
PG,
only a problem against us. Like I
yeah,
feel like he hits everything against us, but now he's hitting everything against everybody.
yeah,
Couldn't hit anything in the clutch versus the Suns, which is why they're not 7-3 right now. But
yeah.
versus us, it was no problem.
But now he's going off, after PG's already gone and Kawhi's hurt again. So, it's tough for the Clippers still. They're in, ninth? Um, but yeah, good for Norm
Could
Powell.
be worse.
Yeah,
That's
it could
for
be
sure.
could be way worse.
They'd be the 3 seed in the East, by the way. The Kawhi-less Clippers.
Yeah, the 3 seed in the East is the Pacers right now, who is the 500.
Oh wow,
Everyone
they
else
got
is
back to 500.
everyone else is
That's good.
below 500. It's
They
just
had a really
atrocious.
slow start to their season. Yeah. So, what was your victory lap? At least based on early returns, your best preseason take.
Either the Mavs or the Timberwolves. I mean, the Mavs are
Mm.
the
I
Mavs
was
are
thinking about those, like, I had these teams in A tier.
Well, I can't remember if we ranked the Timberwolves after the cat trade or before. I think it was before
It
because
was
that was
well before,
yeah, the
yeah,
trade
because
was
that was
so
right
late.
before preseason.
So I'll just say the Mavs, like I've been like pretty like firm in me saying the Mavs didn't necessarily get better by adding Clay because I didn't think he was gonna be that good on offense and he was not gonna be good on defense. Man, he had some possessions against the Nuggets where he was completely lost ball watching, and then by the time he turned around to realize that he should maybe pay attention, someone already like back cut, and not that we scored off of that, but just watching him off ball, like even if he wasn't involved in the play, he was so lost.
So
Any
you actually had the Mavs and the Wolves in A tier as well. I'm just
Damn.
gonna put that out there.
What else? Where did any of my? Well, I got the Warriors and the Clippers probably pretty wrong.
Yeah, you had Warriors D tier and you had the
Hmm.
Clippers C tier. So you had them better than the
Yeah.
Warriors, but
I mean, I still think the Mavs are going to be okay. I mean, they just played us really well. Like we
yeah. And they're
almost lost
missing
that game.
Lively. Like that's really the big thing. When they have Lively, they play at an over 50 win pace.
Yeah. I mean, record
Um,
wise and in the standings, the Mavs are way worse off than even I was saying they would be. So I still think they'll be up there. Like they're going to be a playoff team for sure. But I still the idea that I was saying they're not going to be as good as everyone's saying. I
yeah.
holding out
Yeah.
hope that I'm still going to be right. So
I agree with that one for sure. This team is notorious for slow starts also, and part of it's because of Luca just having slow starts, but they also have these injuries that they're dealing with. I forgot to say PJ Washington didn't play in the game on Sunday either. If you like our content, please do us a favor and hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and definitely subscribe. Leave us a review if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music, or just go over to there, hit the show page, and then give us a 5-star review anyway. And always remember that winning is fun and losing absolutely sucks.